Before we get into learning about turning points and the rest of the strategy, from a software perspective, it's probably best that you're able to navigate yourself around the screen and to set up the screen orientation so that it is something that is easy to work with and personalized to you. Also in this video, we're going to be covering some basic scaling, which will include moving the price and time around so that you have a good looking chart. I want to start off by resetting the chart so that you and I can both see the same thing at the same time and then work from there. Before I do that, this, spoiler alert, is the way I like my charts to look. It has a nice working area, the tools are neatly stacked to the side, and I get my best results with this setup. Of course, feel free to copy that if it makes sense to you. Going to this reset button found at the top right, I'm going to give that a hit. As I do that, I just want to say this will be the savior button. If you can't find a tool, or if a window disappears to a second monitor and you're like, where did it go? Anything to that nature, just hit the reset layout and it'll bring you back to your screen looking like this. You may remember from the previous video that you can click and drag other charts around. Either have it hover, or if you want to have it side by side, just click on the name, drag it, and look for the 4 arrows that appear on the screen. You can have it above, to the side, below, and so on. It's nice to work with 2 charts side by side, as getting a pre-warning of what price is going to do next is very beneficial to our trading. As you can see, there is a crosshair that's moving with my mouse, and basically what that's telling us is if this information were on the other charts, that's where it will be. I won't get into it too much now, but just be aware of that crosshair to bring on perspective between the 2 charts. I'm going to click, drag, and put this back into the charts row up there, then move across to the windows and mess around with this a little as well. The Overwatch is an example of a window that you can drag and condense or expand and resize to whatever makes sense on your screen. Real quick on that point, there are countless amounts of different brands and sizes of screens, and there isn't a one size fits all solution. I kind of learned this the hard way. Drag and drop this and size it to your screen so that it makes best sense for you. And I just say that because maybe my configuration doesn't work on your particular screen, so just kind of keep that in mind. I want to move this across to what I would like on the left hand side of the screen. I find the arrow that allows me to do that, so that's the left arrow, and then I let go of the drag and drop and it will place it there. I'm also going to move the other windows across, so I'm going to drag this over, look for the bottom arrow, let go, and then it positions itself there. And the same with properties, drag, find arrow, drop, and now I've got them stacked up over here. Naturally, this looks unattractive. To make this a sensible setup, I'm going to look for the line that I can click and drag and then bring that up so that I'm not wasting any space. Do the same with properties, and then find the vertical line that allows me to squish this in as much as possible to the side to offer me the most amount of space to work from on my chart. The more I see and the more control I have, the better my forecast will be. So this is, again, my ideal setup. If you're wanting to know if we can move the toolbar, the answer is yes. You can have it up here, perhaps, if you don't want it on the chart. If you wanted to have it at the bottom so it's easy to access, just dropping your mouse down and giving it a click, that's a good place as well. To provide what I would like to call a good looking chart, you may want to move your mouse and hover it over the price axis, and then use the scroll button found in the middle of a typical mouse and move that up and down to elongate the price candles or to bring them into something that's relatively neat and tidy. You can do the same with the price, and should you not have one of those mouses or mice that you can scroll up and down with on the button. If you have a laptop with the touchpad, just do a finger gesture. So you put 2 fingers together and then you can either move up and move down which will either widen or contract the size of the actual candles themselves so that you have a good looking environment on your working area. Now, I do want to mention you can zoom in and zoom out as well. So just hover your mouse anywhere on the screen, and just with the gestures or the scroll wheel, just go up and down and make that happen. One last thing before we jump off. There obviously is a toolbar of handy tools that I can't wait to teach you about, but in the spirit of not overwhelming you up front, instead I'm going to include the full spectrum of them in a video called the Tools Glossary, and I'll stick that at the back of the course. Now, if you want to learn about the tools up front, then feel free to skip ahead to that video, then come back to the course. However, I recommend learning through requirements, and we'll make reference to each tool as they're needed in the following video modules. On that note, I say thanks for your attention and your interest in MTOPS. I'm really excited for what's going to happen in your life once you've unfolded this information and seen the magic of it work out for yourself. And to get you there, let's jump into the next video named Turning Point.